Good morning, good day, good evening. My name is Jonathan Regan, also known as New Questions for blockchaineducation.com.au. Today we're going to do another market recap. Bitcoin not doing much, going sideways, but the altcoins, we have had some murderous moves in the altcoin markets as traders take profits going into Christmas. Now, that's the sort of thing that we talk about in chat all the time, a private community of experienced traders. We expected a lot of this, a lot of Christmas profit taking. If you're interested in trading with a tight community, a group, a support, one of those 5 pillars of success, then definitely think about joining us either before Christmas or after Christmas. We're definitely running a special right now. We would love to have you as a new member. If you are a new member, welcome. Welcome, you've joined a winning team. Man, those percentages this week have been absolutely unbelievable. Some of these coins have run 3, 4, 500%. I've been documenting them in the YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen some of those videos, go check them out. Also go and make sure you check out the 5 pillars of success video, because it gives me an opportunity to explain what you need to have as a trader to succeed in these ultra volatile markets. Right, where are we with Bitcoin? Well, as I've been suggesting over the last few weeks, we continue to make lower lows and lower highs, a sustained downtrend from that $10,000 price point. Let's go and have a look. You can see that after that recent push over the $10,000 price point, we've actually had this kind of section here where we broke below that 200 moving average. This was back in November, the middle of November. We actually made a lower low at the end of November. We've actually come back, we've made a higher low, but we've actually failed to make a higher high. So we are still drifting sideways. We're looking at the 4-hour candle here. Nothing exciting here. ADX still DI negative, still DI positive, but most importantly, we're basically, let's clean this up. We're actually looking at the trend strength, and this is the big one, the trend strength below the threshold, and ultimately we're running sideways. This is an entire section that you don't want to have anything to do with if you're a Bitcoin trader, because you get that cyclic motion. We don't really know how things are going to go with Bitcoin right now. I'm kind of hoping that we don't break lower, because when you have a look at the daily chart and you bring it actually back here, there's a particular support level that we're at right now. I'm going to put a horizontal line, kind of sort of, I don't know, let's put that there. You can see that we kind of came into it, we've come into it, we've actually we're just clinging to it right now. So this particular pink level around about the $7,300 area is actually a pretty important support zone. What we don't want to do is we don't want to fall all the way to the next support zone, which I imagine is probably in this sort of area. This, to me, would be pretty devastating, a move from around about 7,300 down to around about 5,300. If we break below this $6,800 area and we just keep going lower, that's a real thing to be nervous about. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how it pans out in the next couple of months. Regardless of what Bitcoin ends up doing versus the US dollar tether, there has been an awful lot of cryptocurrency alternative coins that are continuing to increase in value in long-term sustained uptrends. We've also seen some of those long-term sustainable uptrends come to a brutal ending in the last couple of days. We're going to discuss some of those. For now, I want to talk about a few that have sort of only just started in the last week. Some of our guys in chat have been picking up on these, and certainly the signals in the algorithms and the analysts are looking for opportunity in a market right now that's just been devastated over the last couple of days. Industry-wide sell-offs across lots of different altcoins, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of altcoin sales, people going back into Bitcoin. We're yet to see that Bitcoin then being sold. So maybe there's some confidence growing in Bitcoin. Certainly the amount of longs are quite excessive compared to the amount of shorts in the leverage margin and futures market. So that's something interesting. The market definitely has a very bullish attitude. Now, having said that, I usually take the flip side to the market. So I'm thinking if there's 5 times more long positions than short, that to me tends to suggest that we're about to go down in value. And those long positions are probably going to be liquidated. We saw something like that when we broke below that $9,000 level and quickly went down to 6,800. That liquidated a tremendous amount of long positions. All right, let's have a look at some of these recent coins that have been going up. I want to look at 45-minute candle. I'm actually going to move some of my notes over here. Let's go and have a look at Go BTC. On the 45-minute candle, you can see sustained downtrend here, broke over the 200 moving average. When I go into this particular chart, you can see we have a really, really nice setup. first indication, second indication, third indication, and then we went DI positive and the trend began. So entry just in this sort of zone here, algorithms and analysts picked it up. We get this sort of move up into the roof of the RSI cave, come back into the floor of the bands, and then continue to do the same thing over and over again. Pretty good sections here for trading, great sections here for trading, and it looks to me like we might actually be starting another section. So continued sustained uptrend here, like big pullbacks, I've got to admit, big pullbacks, but running as high as 83% in 5 days, while the industry basically self-exploded coming into the Christmas break. So go BTC looking very, very interesting. On the 4-hour chart, it looks really quite bullish. You can see right now that it's probably a little high to be buying in right now, but if we see a move back into this area, and then we might see positive kickoff to have yet another higher high. So very interesting setup for Go BTC. I want to have a look at another one called Funfair, the gambling casino. Oh my God, that's even popped even higher. I was telling guys in chat this morning to be buying in around here, and now you can see how much it's popped. So what are we talking about there? That's 18% in 16 hours. So really nice looking thing. 45-minute candle. You can see once again that we had lots of entries down here, lots of pink Barbies, Blitz, ADX goes positive, proper strength, and we had a push up into the RSI roof, came back, didn't quite make the 200, stabilized, got below the 200, and then popped again off that pink Barbie, another up to 51 Satoshis. It's interesting psychological area. What's also really useful to note is right now we seem to be closing at a new higher high. So this looks like it's ready to close above this particular wick, establishing a new higher high to go with a series of new higher lows. So really interesting pattern for fun. Let's look at Atom on the daily, Atom BTC on the daily. The reason I'm going out to the daily is because it's an interesting looking pattern. Now you can see when it was added to Binance, we had a massive sell-off all the way down here. We can see at that exact time, once again, DI positive, ADX strength kicks in, institutional level buying candle, breaks above the 50 moving average, and then just bounces into it again and again, and you can see the cyclic nature of our methodology, continuing to make higher lows. Look, higher low, higher low, higher low again. Is this the higher low? And series of higher highs the whole time. So really interesting setup here for Atom. Good for long-term traders. I'm just going to throw this up like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we sort of see this sort of action, that sort of methodology. It might come back in here, but I can see it running up to 6,000 Satoshis, or for Atom Cosmos on the daily. So another one which was picked up by the indicators and also the algorithms on the 45-minute syndicator. You can see on that day, let's go back to that daily just a second. You can see once again our methodology and work here. Break over the 200 moving average. Beautiful. Look at this green DI positive stuff after a sustained big downtrend. But on a 45-minute candle, it was even more attractive. You can see here, got some really nice entries. Entry, come up into the roof, come back into the 50, dive back into the 200, explode again. So series of higher lows and higher highs. Are we going to go to 200? It could happen. Not so sure. It really got battered here when a lot of other coins got smashed. Decred, DCR, BTC, Decred doing pretty well. You can see it came out of this 200 moving area with a vengeance, went pretty high. Looks like it might be finding a new series of higher highs. We got a lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Huh? Where's our lower low? It's not here. In fact, what we got relative to this is a new higher high. So this is a trend directional change. And now it looks like we might be making another higher high. We might come back in and make a new higher low on that 200. You can see the 200 moving average is come up here and make a new higher high. Are we going back to 3,000? Very much suppose so. Ultimately, something else you got to understand is that this here is a low, another low, another low, another low. So we are getting a series of higher lows and we're getting a series of higher highs. So is this the next higher high? We'll find out. That's an interesting chart. Decred, not so much volume, but certainly something you want to be looking at. XTZ doing an interesting setup as well. Been going along pretty well. We see an explosive move through that 200 moving average. DI positive, of course. ADX strength, perfect entry, and you can see it comes back into that 50, catches it and catches it, and find some sort of support here. You don't want to be trading when it's in this sort of ADX area, but once again, another series of higher lows and series of higher highs. You can see we just keep on making higher lows and higher highs. Really attractive looking coin here. You can see we seem to have some sort of resurgence here. I wouldn't be surprised if we go up and then we come back down into this area, which is the 2000 psychological zone, and then we go higher again. So really interesting setup for XTZ on the 4 hour. I'm going to look at Link as well. Link was very interesting because it's had a sustained downtrend, and just when a lot of other coins started setting some massive sell-offs, we saw this break above the 50 moving average, and we saw it go DI positive, and we can see it's now trending above. It broke above the 200 moving average, triggering some of our indicators. So on the 4 hour, we've had a huge reversal, and on the 45-minute candle, you can see it's actually done a whole bunch of things that it really hasn't done for a very, very long time. If you look really carefully, you can see that it rejected the 200, it rejected the 200, it rejected it, it rejected it. It didn't even come close. It rejected it. It got close, rejected it. And now, look at the difference. Boom! Explosive move across that 200 moving average, the 50 crossing, ADX positive, DI strength, explosive move. This is an unusual event. Unusual. And now when we see an unusual event, we got to trigger an algorithm entry, and you can see it just continues to go higher and higher now. So really interesting reversal off that 200 moving average. We're looking at 12% in 1 day. Now, 12% doesn't seem like much, but there's been an awful lot of coins that have been going down massively. I'll come back to some more that are going up, but let's go and have a look at some that are going down massively. A lot of these coins we talked about in prior YouTube videos, and I always say to my members, look, if a coin does 2 or 3 or 4 or 500% in a month, then when it rolls over and it starts coming back down, you better get the hell out of there. Jump off that freight train, because we could see a 78.6 Fibonacci percent retrace. That means that it will lose 78.6% of its value across that move. And unfortunately for those people who were long on Matic and who were trapped in Matic and who rejected our methodology and stayed in it, well, things aren't looking so great. Let's have a look at Matic. Matic has had a beautiful run for a long period of time. I'm going to look at it on the 4 hour chart because it really, I mean, oh God, look at that. That is just brutal. That is brutal. From here to here was absolutely magnificent. Let's go and have a look. Date range wise, we're looking at around about 20 days. 20 days. And what sort of percentages are we talking about? 20 days, 227%. 227% in 20 days. That is absolutely ludicrous. But like I said, when you get that sort of acceleration, you got to watch out for this sort of stuff. So this is absolutely bananas. We can see here, if I run up a Fibonacci chart, we're probably looking at a 78.6% Fibonacci retrace, bang, right on it as well. Not a bad place to be thinking about accumulating now, but then again, DI negative, trend very strong, wouldn't be going anywhere near Matic until it turns around and we start to see some sort of green DI positive action. On the 45-minute candle, it looks even more brutal. You can see when things rolled over, we broke below the 50, we broke below the 200, we just dumped, and we're just continuing down. Don't fight the market. When you see this, that, don't fight that, because we're going back down again. Just because you get in here, if you're not selling out up here, you're just fighting the market, and we're going to continue lower. Madrid average bands fully expanded, ADX fully DI negative. I don't know if Matic can really recover from this particular smashing. FET, very similar situation, massive sell-offs as people take profit going into Christmas. Once again, don't fight the market. It's not clever to be buying here. You just bang, 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 bang. I mean, we don't know if this particular move here, boom, 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 we don't know if that's about to happen again. So red Madrid average bands, ADX DI negative, fallen through the floor of the RSI cave, sustained downtrend for FET. Don't want to be, I mean, our methodology tells you exactly when to exit. So none of this should have been a surprise. Speaking of not surprising, Troy, a relatively new coin on Binance, continues to decline under the 50, red DI negative. It's just not a good looking coin. If you're trading some of these coins, then you don't want to be in. You don't want to be trading these little ups and downs in a declining, downtrending coin. Try doing that in an uptrending coin like MCO, for example. If you are going to trade and scalp and do all this sort of stuff, that's exactly as I predicted, a new high for MCO. Doesn't surprise me. Why would it? Look at this for a trend. That is just absolutely absurd. Now, perfect entry down here, as per usual. Been talking about MCO in the YouTube channel for weeks now. Beautiful entry here, up 80% in the last 77 days. Just a really nice sustained series of higher lows and higher highs. Doesn't surprise me that while other coins were getting completely demolished, MCO continues to go higher. One final one, which is a bit of a negative situation. One, we talked about that. One having this catastrophic crush back into the 200 moving average. Do I think that one will recover? I kind of have a feeling that we might see a recovery simply because we have a series of higher lows here. And if one can stabilize on this 200 moving average, if we get this to come back down and then up and we start going DI positive, I wouldn't be surprised if we get something of a recovery from one. We might end up finding that it goes to a new high around about 100 Satoshis, 130. That would be really nice. There are another 10 or 15 coins on my list here. I'm not actually going to go through them, to be honest, other than to say that while a lot of altcoin traders out there are getting completely slaughtered with 78% Fibonacci retraces and absolutely getting massacred in downtrending coins, at Blockchain Education, we don't want to look at those. We don't want to concentrate on those. We're concentrating on the ones going up. A couple of other quick ones for you. Quantum, Steam, XTZ, Zen, Horizon, Poly, and also Ethereum. Let's actually look at Ethereum on the 15-minute because it's an interesting situation. Ethereum versus BTC. I'm starting to wonder if you can see we're still in a serious downtrend, but you can see we're at the top of the bands now. And on this 15-minute candle, it's starting to respect the 200 moving average. Here's the 200 moving average. Bounce, 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 bounce. And we're starting to see a series of sustained higher lows. So if I was to throw up a channel here, cyclic nature of our methodology, boom, boom, are we going up here? Are we going to get back to that interesting 20,000 zone? Or the 20, yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting setup for Ethereum. That's up, it doesn't seem like very much. And to be honest, it's not that much. It's only 2.5% in 3 days. But this is Ethereum, which has been going through some sustained downtrend against Bitcoin for a long time. So maybe some of those people who have been taking profit in some of these smaller altcoins are thinking about throwing a bit of that into Ethereum. Also want to keep an eye on XRP, Ripple and Ethereum being a couple of the top players. Not a bad place to be hedging your money, especially if they continue to make higher highs and higher lows in the short term at least. All right. That should give you an idea. Once again, if you're not a member, if you can't afford it, or if you just don't trust us enough, you don't want to get involved, at least continue watching the videos. You'll learn a lot. Like, subscribe, comment, ask questions if you want. Click that bell notification. Would love to have you as a sort of a YouTube social media follower, that sort of thing. If you are thinking about taking on a membership at Blockchain Education, please know we are running a very limited time. I think we're going to stop it at Christmas, actually. A limited time offer. A pretty substantial discount. There's a 7-day refund policy, so you can come in, enjoy it. Those 5 pillars of success, the automation and the training and the methodology and the trade execution and the support, an awful lot of stuff going on for one particular price. And the tech team are about to roll out a competitor to 3Commas and Signally. Very exciting for our automated signals. I hope to have you part of the group. If you are an existing member, I hope you continue being a member into the new year and into 2020, because I think it's going to be a big year. I think it's going to be a big year for the company and for crypto in general. And I think the fact that Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 14,000, down to 6,000, back to 7,000, it's a very exciting time in this industry. All right. Ooh, I think I need another coffee. Did I talk fast enough? I probably did talk fast enough. All right. I'll talk to you soon.